and welcome back to Astro Self Care Sunday with Kenya. And Happy New Year's Eve. It is almost 2024. Now, you may just be getting hit to my channel and it may be 2025. I don't know. Or it may already well be in 2024. But if you're listening to this in live time, this is being published and released to the public on New Year's Eve. So happy New Year's Eve. And I know everyone's probably like, so what is 2024 going to do astrologically? Is that what you're going to talk about today? And no, I'm not. I'm actually going to finish our series because just as divine timing would have it, today I am talking about the last zodiac sign of the 12, Pisces. And it's funny, I didn't even plan it this way. It just happened to land this way. That's that intuition of mine. Just kicked it in when I needed to kick it in. So today we are talking about the sign of Pisces. Now, before we get into it, make sure you are subscribed. If you are not a subscriber, you don't need to like pat it, wait, and just push subscribe. You can always unsubscribe if you change your mind, but you're not going to do that. And then make sure you like and share and do all the good things once we're done. I see this like lock. I have sister locks, guys, and so you're going to be seeing my hair change as we go. If you haven't already noticed, it's beginning. But anyway, that's completely has nothing to do with Pisces. So what we do on these self-care Sundays is I talk, or Astro self-care Sundays, is I, instead of just talk about astrology, we've been doing a series where I've been going through every sign, and I've been talking about the more dominant traits of that sign and the high frequency of that sign, meaning where that sign is showing up and shining at its brightest and its productive, great energy, and why we have that energy around, and then the more stagnant or the lower frequency energy, which I think a lot of the stereotypes are built a lot more probably on the more lower frequency things, but just trying to help you better understand astrology from an accessible, more layman's kind of space, and also use it. This is the most important thing. It's cool to know astrology. It's cool to be able to say, oh, this is, my sun sign is Gemini, my moon is Libra, and my rising is Cancer. Like, that's cool to say that, but you want to learn how to use it. It's also kind of cool to say, oh, well, I'm a Scorpio, sun, so that means that I really, I can see through people and read people and this. And that's cool to be able to say all those adjectives and those things you can do, and traits that I'm about to explain. But how do you use it? How do you use it in your life so that you have a more fulfilling life, so that you have a more aware life, so you have more peace of mind, so you better understand and have more patience and compassion for yourself, but also for others? Because astrology is not just this little fairy tale dust to make it cool to hear about different things that you may be have happening to you. It's deeper than that. Okay. And so I wanted to start off with these self-care Sundays first with telling you the signs. When we kick off the new year, I have a lot of wonderful announcements, and we're going to start moving into understanding other parts of our lives, and then better understanding that astrologically. Okay. And we've got some fun classes, which I'm going to announce at the end. Actually, I think I'm going to give you a teaser at the front part. Okay, we'll give you a teaser at the front part. We have a new Foundations in Astrology class where you're going to learn all more deeply about the planets, the houses, the aspects, the degrees, the retrogrades, and how to actually get the basics of reading and understanding your chart so that you can use it. And also beginning to learn how to read a chart, period. So you can look at your partner's chart, you can look at your children's chart, your mother's chart. And it really, when you begin to start seeing how this works, oh my goodness, what you are able to have more compassion for and grace for yourself and for others is tremendous. So we have a new class, and I'm going to talk about it some more at the end, but if you just can't wait, all right, you can pause this for a moment and you can fill out the free interest form. Okay, so what we're doing with this is Foundations in Astrology. It's a 6-week virtual class in live time. So it's not one of these things where I'm just going to give you something and then you go on your own, do it at your own pace, have fun. Astrology, I just don't find. I think it's best to do it in live time with a teacher, a guide, a coach, someone helping you. Okay, that's the best. And using your own chart. So you're going to be learn. If you don't know your chart, don't know how to get your chart, you're going to learn how to get all of that. You are going to be needing to have a notebook or a spiral or something because this class. Okay, this is a little bit of class, but this is really class, but fun class. Okay, because you're going to be studying yourself. All right, that's the best way to learn astrology is to use yourself and your own chart. It really makes it stand out way more. Also, occasionally being able to look at loved ones' charts because you'll be able to better understand, certain characteristics that they have. When you see their charts, it all starts to really click. So if you go to findingyourvoiceafter40.com/services, you will see, if you scroll down about our astrology services, and you'll see a link where you can click on to fill out the free form. We are going first to those who have filled out that form. They get the first privy to the registration for the actual class. The class is capped at 20, okay, because we want to be able to have this be intimate and be able to, have everybody go through their charts. More than 20 will be too hard to do that. We may have just 3. That's fine. We'll still go. As long as we have at least 3 people, we will still have. Now, more than 3 people have already filled out this form because I have already announced this form in the community that I serve, who, if you're part of our newsletter, you're already getting that. If you're like, how do I get a part of that newsletter? Again, if you just go to findingyourvoiceafter40.com, you'll scroll and you'll see how you can do that as well. If you push upcoming events, also when you get to findingyourvoiceafter40.com, you'll see a link of how to subscribe. Okay, and then that way you can get all the goods. All right. So I'm going to talk more about this at the end. We'll go back to it. But let's get into Pisces. All right. Let's get into it. So y'all know I keep my notes. Pisces. So before I kind of tap into this may be just a little bit longer than our usual 25. We may have to push it to 30 minutes today. But I just want you to understand, we have gone through every zodiac sign, okay? And if you haven't been here, this is your first time, just go back. I have a whole playlist of all the videos that we've been doing so far in the Astrology Self-Care Sunday. And you can go back and see if you missed your sign, your sun sign, or your moon sign, or your rising. You can go back. We've done every single sign except for Pisces, which we're going to do right now. So Pisces is the last sign, and that's not, the signs are not put together just sporadically, like, oh, Gemini just, can be anywhere. No, Gemini deliberately, specifically, and astrologically, spiritually, mystically comes after Taurus for a reason. So it's very important that, this class that I'll be doing, we'll be talking about what that specific reason is. I don't have time on this today to dig into it, but it is very specific. I will say this, though. As you go through each sign, the soul is maturing, and the soul is getting closer and closer to its self-actualization and to its divine. And so Pisces is the 12th sign. It is most associated then with the divine, with the unseen, with the higher self, with the intuition, the healer, okay? So if you have Pisces in your sun, moon, or rising, you really want to pay attention to this. If you don't have Pisces in the top 3, it don't matter because you still got Pisces in you. We all have every sign. All of us have this divine space, okay? This energy that Pisces is wanting to put out there, this mutable energy, this ability to be broad and all over. So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Pisces. Here we go. Pisces mantra is, I believe. I believe, not I see, not I think, I believe. I believe. And that, I think, is just very, again, all of these mantras are very clear than what the quality of that sign's energy is. Okay, remember the unseen. Pisces is about the unseen, the higher self, the subconscious. The dates are February 19th through March 20th. Its symbol is fish. Okay, so 2 fish. Element, water. Again, being a water sign means it's more connected to the emotions. All right. So Pisces is about the feeling, about the emotions. If you've got that in your type 3, you already know. The modality is mutable. I said that before. Mutable, again, remembers that it's ever changing. It's flexible. It's adaptable. It goes, it disperses. It wants to share things outward, or be able to have those emotions, emote and connect with others, love others. Love is love. You'll hear that a lot with Pisces energy. It's ruled actually by two planets, Jupiter and Neptune. So that tells you a lot about the quality then of Jupiter and Neptune. And we're going to talk more about the planets next. No worries. You're going to start learning about these planets. The ruling house is the 12th house. We'll be starting to talk about that as well. And it's opposite of Virgo. So if it's opposite, again, the water signs are opposite of an earth sign. The fire are opposite of an air. Okay, so they actually can, really work together if some other things are put together. We're really going to start digging more into compatibility. I got a little workshop talk about a little bit of love coming up to you soon, because I know y'all want to know, should I be with a Pisces or should I be with a Scorpio? Or should I be? I know you want to know. Well, there's some really fun ways to look at astrology to better understand that. But anyway, back to Pisces. All right. So high frequency, the wonderful things that we love about Pisces. It is the heart for the less fortunate. Okay? Remember the divine, the God, the closest to, the fish, all these things that, yes, very much you can see in the Bible and so forth, which is why astrology is so tied into the Bible. And we won't go off the tangent as to why people seem to somehow want to trash astrology, but it's not. But anyway, a heart for the less, very adaptable energy, very artsy and creative energy. Very much, again, the mantra is I believe. So being a believer and believing in the things that it feels. Okay, it's intuition, very highly intuitive. Okay, very broad minded, to the fact that Pisces energy is not concerned so much about the order of details. It's kind of, it wants to look at the abstract. It wants to look at the complex. It wants to look at the changeabilities of things. It feels very comfortable in that energy, in that space. Okay. So that's why, people who have Pisces in their top 3, it's not a wonder that they are probably doing some type of work in the space of spirituality or philosophy or astrology or religion or any of those kind of healing spaces, Reiki, because that is how it energetically it serves at its highest form. So very concerned with collective and charity and being of service, and of compassion. A certain complexity, though, around Pisces. And again, because of this being water, it being mutable, it being broad, it's opposite of Virgo. So if you remember what we said, or if you go back to look at the Virgo was very particular and very tangible, earth, steady. Pisces, no, it's emotions. It's going to go a little over here, a little over there. I know Pisces get accused a lot of moodiness, and in fact, that absolutely can be a part of their lower frequency thing. It has the propensity to go there because it is so broad and it is so emotion led. That's where that's coming from. It's just not Pisces are just moody. No, that's a low frequency of it, and it only turns in the moodiness when it's not receiving the self-care that we're going to talk about in a moment. Okay. Very creative energy, much of a crusader, dreamer. We have to be careful with Pisces and the dreamer, because it can get caught up and can almost turn from the dreamer positive to delusional, meaning like that's not really, we've got to come back to this human experience as well, and understand the groundedness of it all. Dualistic, emotionally, can be extremely sensitive emotionally because, again, it's water, it's feminine energy. I don't know if I mentioned that. It's feminine energy. Feminine is receiving. Remember, feminine is not about girl. If you are a male Pisces, doesn't mean you now are feminine. No. Feminine is a quality. It's an energetic quality when we're talking about astrology, and really, I think, outside of astrology as well. Feminine is about the receiving, the inner, the reflection, the intuition, whereas masculine is concerned about the extrovert, the active, the do energy. Okay, can be very esoteric and very empathic and empathetic. So those are all the high frequencies. Low frequency. So let's just take all those things and suppress them. I don't take care of myself. So there can be addiction involved with Pisces. Pisces has to be very careful because Pisces seeks a certain level of escape and escapism. That's actually healthy for the Pisces to have a certain level of escapism, but what's not healthy is when it turns into a substance escape or use of things that are toxic or more addictive. But they are more prone to go in that direction because they do need that escape because they are interested in the unseen. Energetically, they're trusting, they're believing what they feel. Okay, and so yes, addiction prone can be one of the lower frequencies. Can be ambiguous, just again because of that broad nature of things. Can be somewhat chaotic, compulsive. There might be some confusion sometimes again because Pisces is interested with that unseen. It's interested of really tapping into the divine, to the higher self. And so that's not always clear, right? That's not always tangible, especially in our human experience. And with that confusion can come a myriad of other things. Sitting in a really lower frequency can go as far as to even start to be deceptive and deceitful. Again, the intention is not to be that, but if there is not a nurturing of this very broad-minded and sometimes misunderstood space in an effort to feel better or adequate, there might, if you're pushed farther enough, you may have some levels of deceit to get to where you want to get. Same thing like with the Scorpio and that manipulative, that power that Scorpio holds can turn into manipulation. So water signs have to be very careful with this because when you're dealing with emotions and you're dealing with things that, emotions are not necessarily, they're not, these tangible facts, right? They're guides. Our emotions are our guides to help us pay attention and put spotlights on areas that need some level of attention. That's really what an emotion is attempting to do. So yeah, that can happen. Directionless, disorderly, again, because it's water. It's not clearly defined. It's mutable. And so again, if these self-care things that I'm going to say next are not happening, you can have a certain type of instability happening emotionally and really can go in the escapist space. Okay. All right. So let's help the Pisces out. What can we do? All right. So let me just state this. Pisceans are known for compassion, imagination, and a sensitive nature. Okay. So if you can remember those three things, compassion, imagination, and sensitive nature. It's interesting when you see Pisces children, people that have Pisces little ones, you will quickly be able to see their compassion, their imagination, and their sensitivity. And do not poo-poo on that, okay? Because if you start thinking that that's weird or they're not being whatever enough or whatever, that can send a Pisces energy into a very suppressed, depressed space. So you've got to nurture it, okay? And so ways to nurture it, things that can help it is creative expression, really important for Pisces energy, to be able to write, to paint, to play music, anything that they can get it out, because as an artist or as creative expression, you can use your imagination, okay? And then the imagination is that higher space, right? It's that land that we just dream of, that we just believe, but we don't always know. We see with our third eye, we intuit it. Very important for Pisces. To calm the mind, to calm the emotions, the mindfulness and meditation are important, and connecting with nature. Any aspect of nature is going to be really comfortable for the Pisces energy, and where it can have the refuge, because nature has this tendency to take us to further spaces of our mind, right? It creates a certain release for us, very helpful. Any type of healing arts like yoga or Reiki or aromatherapy, all of those things are really helpful for the Piscean energy. Music and dance, you're getting the movement, but you're also getting the expressive nature of them both. And Pisces, definitely its ability to express its love and its feelings is very powerful. Reading and film and those things allow you, again, that escape quality that Pisces wants to experience instead of going to a substance. If it has a book or has a film, it can go, especially books, because books, you have to use your imagination to fully understand the scope of what's being told, the story being told. So very, very beautiful for Pisces energy to be reading. Connecting with animals, because animals, again, while they're here, they're instinctually sitting in another space. To connect with them, you're connecting more intuitively. So that's a really good space for Pisces. Spiritual exploration all day long. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, because it is the divine. Again, it's very close to the mystical state. When you really learn astrology, you begin to learn way more about the connections of Pisces, the 12th house, Neptune, and Jupiter, particularly Neptune, 12th house, Pisces. There's a connection that's happening there that really explains this fascination with spiritual exploration. You take the class, we're going to dig more into that. It's way too much for me to dig into right in this moment, but just let me just tell you, absolutely, we all have Pisces in us. Right now, Pisces is very important. It's super, super important because I want to say, and I please, can you don't, say this wrong. As we're looking, Pluto's about to go into Aquarius, which is going to do a lot of interesting things. But Saturn has sat in Pisces, and this Saturn sitting there is helping us to really start to understand what we believe, and get in alignment with that. Super important. So we'll be talking more about transits and things like that in the class. We won't go deep in transits in the class. Please do not do the foundations in astrology thinking we're going to go deep into transits. Transits are, what's squaring, or I'm not, those are aspects. We are going to do that. Transits are when a planet moves in a different part of the chart. What can you expect? That's a higher level. We're not going to be talking about that, but we will talk about aspects, so things that are squaring, conjuncting, and opposing. But back again, we're almost done with the Pisces. Photography, art appreciation, and then I mentioned this whole idea of healthy escapism, and I'm going to say this again because I think in our world right now, we don't understand the importance of healthy escapism. That in fact, we do need to have some levity, but supported in a way that nurtures us. And we have to be careful not to overdo it so that now it turns into a more addictive or dangerous space. Okay. So a healthy form of escapism, and remember, we all have Pisces in us. Okay. So we all need this to a certain degree, is, if you're watching some type of uplifting film, uplifting, not take me down to the garbage and now I'm depressed forever. Okay. Healthy escapism. A lot of what's on TV and stuff can be a negative escapism. You have to be careful how that starts to feed you and how that starts to feed the subconscious and how the mind can start to run in that space. So anything that's transporting you to a more imaginative space that has more positivity or some type of motivation or uplift is really healthy escapism. Okay. All right. So I know that was a lot, but this last little statement I want to be able to say about Pisces. Tailoring self-care practices to align with Pisces energy allows individuals to nurture their sensitive and intuitive nature while fostering a sense of emotional well-being and connection with their creative and spiritual side. Creativity, spirituality, emotional well-being. Very big. If you have Pisces in your top 3 particularly, and you are not doing any of those things, you must take a pause, reset, especially as you're going into 2024, and begin to think about how you can at least do one small activity, one small thing where you can start to tap into one of those aspects. Super healthy for the Pisces energy. Okay? All right. So we've gone through all the signs. So next Sunday, when we come back, yes, you have to come back, you're going to hear about what's the next series. And I have a very, very fun announcement next week about, in addition to this Foundations in Astrology class, I'm going to be doing a special uh, masterclass slash workshop on something that I think is really, really fun and that I want to start digging a bit more into. So that's the teaser. You want to, I'll give a hint. Relationships. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. You're not going to get any more. Don't know. No more. I'm not going to get more. But in the meantime, again, I just want to be able to encourage you, if you are just now joining my channel, just now seeing these videos, and this has resonated for you, go back, look at the other signs. Every sign is up there now. We have every sign in us. So it's important to listen to every sign because you have it in you. All right. Now, where you have it in you, if you're like, well, I don't even understand what you're talking about, I highly recommend that you consider getting a birth chart guidance reading with me or with someone, but I'm going to say with me because this is my channel and I love to do it. And I've never had a client not do a session that doesn't leave the session feeling empowered, feeling alive, feeling affirmed. And that way, when we meet together one-on-one, I can really explain how this works, that we have every single sign, and that you are not just the Libra that you thought you were, okay? Or, you're going to get a lot of ahas during this, huge epiphanies and ahas during this session. So if, again, you look in the description, if you go to findingyourvoiceafter40.com/services, you can always book a session with me and we can do that. But also, how can I get started learning about astrology? Well, here we go again. Foundations in Astrology virtual class. People are already submitting their interest forms. This is first come, first serve. If you go to this link, you'll be able to see where the form is, and on the form it explains all that we're going to be teaching and learning in the class, so that you have a better idea. It's the whole outline I provide, the whole outline, so you can really see what topics we're going to be discussing. I would say this: no matter what, I would say if you're a beginner, absolutely. If you are intermediate, yep. If you feel like you're a more advanced person, you already know how to read your chart, you already know how to look at aspects and conjunctions and squares and so forth, this would be more of a review for you. This is not a class that we're going to start going over transits, but what this class is going to do is going to introduce you to the foundations. And then if you really dig that class and you like it and you complete that class, then you'll be eligible to go to a higher level, a deeper level class. Okay, where we dig even deeper. But let's just start there. All right, let's just start there. How about that? So yeah, make sure you go sign up for free. That does not obligate you. It's just this way, by you signing up, I'm adding you, all those who are signing up, they're being added to a list. So when we open registration, you will be the first to know. If we're ever doing any kind of discounts or, some flash sales or whatever, we're going to go first to those who've completed that interest form. So if you have the slightest interest, I would say fill it out. Even if you know you can't commit, the class will begin March 2024. So we are not beginning top of the year. You have time. You've got a whole 2 months before, getting all into it. It's 6 weeks. It's virtual. It's in live time. Each session will be recorded. So if you're not able to come to a session or two or what have you, or let's say we pick a day and a time that just doesn't work for you, but you really want to do it, you can still register and you'll get the recordings. Although I will say, if you feel like you can't come any of the times in live time, I don't know if that's going to be the best fit for you, honestly, because you want to be able to go through your chart while I'm talking and while I'm teaching. Okay? All righty. Well, you guys have an amazing New Year's Eve and kickoff to 2024. Yes, astrologically, there's a lot. And we will be digging a bit more into that so that you can feel connected and feel grounded in the season of a lot of transition and transformation that's happening all around us. Pluto's moving. So remember, Pluto only moves every 14 to 20 years. So whenever Pluto moves, it becomes very significant. And so we're going to talk more about that in our next series, which I'll tell and explain more about when we kick off next Sunday. So enjoy your New Year's. Enjoy the new year. Be safe. Make sure you're watching the video so that you're ready. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Take care, guys. Bye.